This is also from my daughter's school. So on your birthday every year at this school, you get, the day is devoted to you. It's very nice. And your parents or your other grandparents or other people get invited in. And so I didn't know anything about this, but I knew I had been invited, so I went to the school, and I knew that I had to provide to the teacher the day before some incidents from each year of Sarah's life, so first year, second year, third year, fourth year. And so I did that, and then got invited in. So my wife and I go to the school, and we were not allowed in the classroom. We had to sit at the end of the hallway. We weren't allowed to sit outside the classroom. We had to sit all the way down in the lobby. And we sat there sort of nervously. And then I looked down the hallway, and coming down the hallway with little wings on is my daughter with another friend whose hand she is holding. So two of them are coming down the hallway very solemnly toward us. And they each reached out a hand to us. So my wife took my daughter's hand, and I took the other little girl who had been designated as the helper's hand, and they left. The one teacher begins to talk about Sarah and how she came to us, and tells a story. And then there are two little kids dressed up as the moon, two little kids dressed up as the stars, and two little kids dressed up as the sun. And so the teacher reads a little story, which apparently she reads every single time there's a birthday. And so Sarah has to go to the stars and ask them a question, and they answer the question. So the two little kids were dressed as the star, hold up the stars. They have their little star head things on, and they both stand up, and they're really happy. And then they sit back down. And then Sarah has to go to the moon and ask the moon a question. And the two little kids with the moons hold up the moons, and same thing happens with the sun. And then they sit down, and then that part is over. And then the assistant teacher gets up with Sarah and puts her arms literally around Sarah, and they light a candle together and stand there. And I look on the table, and there are 5 little beeswax candles that are unlit. And the other teacher then says, when Sarah was 1 year old, and then the teacher takes Sarah's hand, and they light candle number 1. They tell the story about when she was 1 year old. And then when Sarah was 2 years old, they tell the story about when she was 2 years old, and they light the candle when she was 2 years old. And they did 3 and 4, and now she's 5, and they light the candles. And then we had brought cupcakes or something. I don't remember what we brought for her. And we didn't get to eat them because they came over to us after that was all done, and they took us by the hand, and they walked us out of the classroom and back up to and that was it. That was our birthday experience. And I was, I was moved, and I was crying. I didn't know why, and maybe because I didn't get to eat the cupcakes. But I realized that what they were actually doing was just talking about symbolism and saying the very simple thing, which is at the crux of all this, which is that one thing can stand for another thing. That when I'm lighting a candle, I am actually showing you physically that a year has passed. But I'm never saying to you, this stands for the first year, then we're blah, 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 blah. I mean, all of those of you who know any ceremony where you go around lighting candles and talking about they mean a different thing for each candle that gets lit. And there are lots of religions that do that, right? They never talked about, you're not actually the moon, you are just playing the moon here. And the moon really is only standing in for some concept or idea. They didn't talk about that, but they laid that out there in front of them. And I realized that this curriculum is all infused with this everywhere. And that is the basis of what we're trying to teach kids here. And that is what you guys in the classrooms are trying so hard to do. And you do it really well and really thoughtfully every day. But if you don't understand that one thing can stand for another thing, like our kids very often can, as Ray just pointed out, you can't decode words because you can't say D's stand for this sound. And that's what we're trying to get across to kids. Okay, so to be practical about all of this, it's nice to know, but let's talk about writing goals.